This video describes a fascinating conversation between Sri Krishna and his Maharani Rukmini. There is a description of the indoors of Krishna's palace in Dwarka, which is worth listening to. Krishna sat comfortably against cushions on a large bed in Rukmini's apartment. She looked after him, ably assisted by her maids. It was slightly warm. She cooled him with a hand-held fan. Strings of pearls hung from the canopy of the queen's bed. Semi-precious stones embedded in the walls of the palace glittered. Bouquets of variegated, fragrant jasmine flowers had been arranged in vases. Brahmaras droned around the flowers in search of nectar. Cool white moonbeams crept through the lattice windows. The bed sheet on which Krishna sat was white, like foam on a bucket of milk. Rukmini was dressed in lovely clothes. She wore several studded rings on her tapering fingers. Golden bangles added to the beauty of her long, slender arms. Her necklace reflected the saffron glow of her breasts, even under her sari pallav. Strings of pearls hung down her waistband right up to her undulating hips. Her face was attractive as the moon. She had a beatific smile. Krishna treated her as his beloved, not just his queen. He decided to tease her just for some fun. He said, "Dear princess, some of the most powerful kings and princes of this land wanted to wed you. You were handsome, prosperous and powerful. Your father and elder brother had given their word to some of the princes. However, you declined a warrior like Shishupal for my sake. I stand nowhere in comparison with those people. Why did you act like that?" "My charming woman," continued Krishna, "I was always a destitute. I possessed nothing. I am not going to be a master of riches. Only the desperately poor love me, and so do I love them. The wealthy do not care for me. You ought to have married one of the rich kings. A marriage ought to be among equals, Rukmini. It was short-sighted on your part not to have considered all these aspects while deciding to marry me." "I abducted you, Rukmini, to show them down, that Shishupal, Jarasandh, your brother Rukmi, to hurt their pride, and not for your sake." This was the tease. Not for your sake, although he was passionately in love with her. "I am indifferent to pleasures, physical or otherwise. I do not need a wife or sons or daughters. Kamadev is helpless in my presence. Rukmini, I am complete in myself." The young Rukmini was stunned. She was crestfallen. Krishna had never spoken such harsh words. Her heart beat fast. She scratched at the earth below with the toes of her lotus feet that were flushed orange with the light reflected from her nails. Her tears, blackened by collyrium, stained her breasts that had been anointed with a saffron unguent. She lowered her head in grief. Her voice was choked. Now Krishna realized that he had shocked her unnecessarily. He bent down and lifted her in his arms. He wiped her eyes and her breasts soaked in tears. He embraced her warmly, held her in his arms for a long time, assuring her of his unshakable affection. He said, "My beloved, do not be upset with me. I know that I alone am the center of your universe. You are my eternal companion." It was the hear your words of endearment that I provoked you. I wanted to see how your ruby red lips tremble in anger. You look so pretty when you raise your eyebrows. Rukmini felt assured. Looking at him with a bashful smile and a glance full of affection, she said, "You are justified in saying that I do not deserve you, my love. You are Bhagavan, a repository of all that is virtuous and beautiful. I cannot compare with you nor equal you." My lord, you are beyond our enemies, who are just mortal kings. You do not require an earthly throne to prove yourself. Even your devotees have renounced these signs of power and influence. You said that you did not know what your beliefs were, what was the road you had taken, and that you did not act and live like other mortals. True. Even the sages who worship your lotus feet and drink their nectar are not clear about their path and destination. Naturally, the mortals, always ensnared by their senses, cannot reach anywhere near you, said Rukmini. You said that you are destitute, that you possess nothing. Believe me, you are not poor. You do not own anything because you are everything, Krishna. Possession can only be that of an outsider. You permeate all that was, is, and will be. The proud rich who do not care for you, who, lost in the importance of their wealth and power, ignore you, forget the certainty of death. If they could reach you, it would be moksha for them, riddance from the sorrows and attachment of this world. Note here, this is the devotion of a bhakt. These are not just the sentiments of a wife. Continued Rukmini, it is the sage, the thinker, and the knowledgeable who, in order to attain you, give up all attachment. They alone can reach you and not the others who are busy in worldly pursuits. I looked for you, sought you, not out of ignorance, not because some sages sang of your unique attributes, Bhagavan. I knew what I was going in for. What was my destination? That is the Creator, who looks after the entire universe benevolently. You are the soul, the love in the hearts and minds of the lovers. You can create, you can destroy. Where does that leave Jarasandha or Shishupal or Rukmi? So Rukmini continued, how do you say that those who follow you suffer in the long run? Have all the sages who have meditated upon you suffered in any manner? You are the center point of all the gunas. Revered rishis sing of your qualities. The fragrance of your lotus feet imparts bliss. Lakshmi serves you all the time. Which woman, Krishna, will not aspire for you? I married you considering you to be the most suitable groom for me. Krishna smiled. He embraced her. Said he, you have settled the score in your favor. I accept defeat. I love you beyond words, and so do I. I can never repay your debt. You have won me over with your immeasurable love for me. Rukmini, in my devotees, I do not look for anything but absolute devotion, an act of simple faith. Therein lies bliss. Call it moksha or by any other name. Jai Sri Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.